It is Thursday. I know we on a little early. It is 12:25, but you guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio. This is our last show of the semester. It's been a good semester. We went over a lot of great topics, but we're going to recover some of them because we got someone special in the studio. It's not Gray, but we got my old man, my dad, Mr. Scott Marshall in the house today. I'm no longer the oldest man in the studio.
Let's go.
So we're going to run down some of the topics and get a listener's perspective to some of the things we've had to say over the semester while also reminiscing. So stay here. We're doing all that right after this break. And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. Now, over the course of the semester, we've talked a bunch of different topics, from A.J. Brown to the WBC to flopping to so many different things. So we're going to rehash some of those today. We're going to talk A.J. Brown from Philly to the New England Patriots. Now, you've grown up a lifetime New England Patriots fan, so you've seen them when they've sucked. You've seen them as they've won 7 Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowls. So what would it mean for A.J. Brown to come to New England this upcoming season if he potentially lands in New England?
Wow, I hate that you use sucked in the same
Did
word
they
as
not suck?
Patriots,
Did they not at one
well,
point?
there was a stint there that they weren't really good, but you know.
Called before Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
Yeah, there was a stint there that they were not very good, but yeah, the trade for A.J. Brown would be huge. You know, we haven't had a real big number one receiver, I think, going back to probably Randy Moss. on
Yeah,
that level.
He's probably be the last one. I mean, you can probably consider Wes Welker or Gronk or Edelman, maybe, but we haven't seen a receiver like AJ Brown in New England since someone as dominant as Randy Moss at the wide receiver position.
Yeah. When we're talking about a wide receiver one, Gronk, tight end, but great hands, great speed, just a big guy. When you start talking Julian Edelman, he's mainly a slot guy. Gets everything across the middle, great hands. But when you're talking somebody that can stretch the field, take the top off, and also battle down in the trenches, you're talking about. And AJ Brown's a big guy, the big receiver.
Yeah.
So,
have you seen him stand next to Devontae Smith? He dwarfs Devontae Smith.
So it'd be extremely awesome to get him to New England. But that's going to take some stuff, though.
I know. When I read in the past, he's not supposed to be. If he is, he won't be traded until after, I believe, June 1st, just because that's when the major cap hit wouldn't be as big for Philadelphia as to if they were to trade him before. There'd be a massive cap hit.
Right.
I'm not sure about the cap hit it would be, but it would be like $24-30 million cap hit for Philadelphia. Whereas if they trade him after, it won't be as big, but they're going to ask a lot for him. First-round draft pick and probably player compensation, too, for A.J. Brown.
Oh, for sure.
So that's what you're probably looking at for trade capital-wise. But when you talk about A.J. Brown potentially going to New England, he's teaming up with Mike Vrabel again. And whenever A.J. Brown talks about Mike Vrabel, he has nothing but good things to say about him. He does nothing but sing his praises. So what do you think teaming up A.J. Brown with Mike Vrabel would do for the New England offense and then just for A.J. Brown's reputation? Because the last couple of years, it's kind of taken a hit with him and Sirianni, him and Jalen Hurts. What do you think the potential impact could be on his reputation or his impact could be on our offense now that Stephon Diggs is no longer part of that offense?
I think it'll be a huge positive impact on both sides, both for New England and for A.J. Brown personally. He grew up a New England fan.
Yep.
A Patriots fan. So,
but he's gotten the jerseys. If you've seen the social media posts.
So, and then to connect him with a coach that he actually really likes and respects. That's when you have that dynamic between a player and a coach, that student professor type thing.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be huge for them. They're going to be able to interact and talk, and he's going to be able to receive information as well as provide information and feedback to the coach on what's going on and so on and so forth. So I think it'll be a good dynamic between the two of them.
Okay, and we've seen in the past veteran receivers help younger quarterbacks develop. Obviously, Stephon Diggs with Jaylen Brown, Tyreek Hill with Patrick Mahomes. Do you think A.J. Brown could be that for Drake May going forward into the season if A.J. Brown gets traded to New England? Can he help him develop to a place where we can see where his real potential is and where he can really be as a quarterback?
I absolutely think he can. The routes that he could present to him and give him the ability, because that Drake May is already mobile.
Yep.
He can throw on a dime. He's got a great arm. He can make decisions quick. But if you give him the receiver that can adapt and react to what he's doing in real time, and then someone that has speed and size to separate, go over the top, I think you got it with that. And with Drake May as a quarterback throwing laser passes and moving the way he does, they can spread that offense. They can really spread that offense.
Yeah, with A.J. Brown obviously being in the receiving core, that opens up things for Kayshon Boutte with Efton Chisholm might get some more shots. Pop Douglas. You open up so many different routes for other receivers, and they open up the offense because you definitely open up the running game with Ramondre Stevenson, with Trayvon Henderson.
Yeah.
And then tight ends would get more looks too, Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper, and then the one we just recently drafted. Right?
Yeah, so it spreads the field. It really spreads the field.
Oh, yeah. It opens up the offensive book a lot more, especially for Josh McDaniels, because say what you want about McDaniels, not a great head coach, but you can't take away the dude is a phenomenal offensive coordinator.
Extremely. I mean, when you think of look at what happened with Brady and Moss.
Yeah.
When those two connected.
50 touchdown passes for Brady, and then Randy Moss still holds the single-season touchdown record with 23.
So, when you're talking about that, you could potentially have something on that level. I wouldn't say that they would be that level, but they could be close to performance-wise if they click between May and Brown. I think that you could have something really special there.
Okay. Yeah. I would love to see A.J. Brown come to New England, but obviously draft capital is going to be a big one. What do you think New England would have to give up realistically to get A.J. Brown? I know I said first-round draft pick and some player compensation, but who do you think New England would have to give up realistically to go and get A.J. Brown?
I don't think they're going to give up bodies, but if they do, it's not going to be
any of the starters.
What I do think is they're going to go heavy on those draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be looking for those first-round draft
Oh,
picks.
yeah.
Right? So it could be they're looking at possibly 2028 high first-round draft pick.
Yep.
But it could be a combination of 28, 27.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do anything, obviously, in 26. Well, they didn't do anything in 26. But it could be a combination of 27, 28 first-round draft picks.
Okay. And then growing up in Boston, obviously you grew up in New Bedford.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say the culture in Boston, do you think he's going to fit into the culture that just the city of Boston provides rather than, because Philly, as much as Philly fans probably don't want to admit, they're probably one of the most aggressive, toxic fan bases out there in pro football.
Oh, Boston.
Boston's pretty bad, but do you think he'll fit into the culture of Boston and fit what Boston is, the blue collar worker, the people who really work?
Yeah, I think so. I absolutely think so. I think he can. The way that Boston is, if you go there and you show them that you grind, they embrace you. Mm-hmm. You look at any player that has gone in there and just put in the work, and they embrace you. But if you don't put in the work and then you slack off, they'll let you know about it. You know, they are a very passionate, or we are a very passionate fan base. So
that's for sure. Yeah, Boston. Like, I would love to see him there. I think he'll fit in perfectly with what the offense is trying to do and what Josh McDaniels wants to do offensively. Now, just leaving A.J. Brown for a little bit, just the New England offense with the draft picks they did from this prior draft, what do you think New England improved on or will improve upon coming up this season?
I think that they made some big improvements on the offensive line because we saw that collapse in the Super Bowl and leading up to that, you saw the gaps. And that was all from youth and injuries, right? Yeah. We had some young players protecting the corners.
Yep.
But they're going to get better. I think what they did this time, I think we made really good strides on both sides of the ball offensively as far as the line goes. Offense, we have some players in there now that we can move around to protect Drake May a little bit better than we did last year. On the defensive end, we have some rushers. We have some people to come off those edges. We're looking and hopefully, some of these and some of those the rookies that we drafted should be battling for that first
string
slot, first string, right? So to play, and they look strong. I know one of them we're comparing to Judon, but a lot more aggressive. So if he's anything like that. And he gets off that edge. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an exciting season.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the season, especially after what we did last season. I think we only improved upon the team we had. Obviously, we lost Stephon Diggs, which will hurt. But if we get A.J. Brown, I think that role's filled. Mm-hmm. But I think we definitely made improvements on the team we had last year. So going into this year, obviously manage expectations because we're still a bunch of young kids with Will Campbell, Drake May, who's still young, so you got to manage expectations. I'm not saying Super Bowl bound again or nothing, but I'm hoping for a winning season and maybe a playoff run. I think our manageable expectations at least make the playoffs and show improvement, especially along the offensive line for New England. Man, there's so much upside to New England, especially after last year. If you go and get A.J. Brown, there's so much upside to this team that I don't think you can sit here and discredit anything they've done or anything they're going to do. I know in the recent weeks, people have tried to harp on Mike Vrabel for the things he's done in his personal life, but it's not affecting the team. The team has come out and backed him 100%. Drake May just said he's a great human being. He's done nothing but back him, but New England has a bright future going forward. Yes. Hopefully New England can sign A.J. Brown. He'll get his own jersey. You think Edelman gives up number 11 for A.J. Brown?
He would absolutely give up number 11 for
Man.
He would absolutely do it.
Think so?
Oh, yes. He wouldn't even ask for anything.
He probably asked for something, maybe like tickets or something.
He might say sign it.
Good point. Well, I think he has a signed Edelman jersey already.
He's ready to get him to New England.
Oh yeah, he's been pushing. He's been politicking for A.J. Brown. Don't worry.
Yes.
All right, so that was one of the topics we had early in this year. It's great to get a true Bostonian, or what do they call you, masshole? Is that what they say? Is that what they call you guys?
Yeah, that's definitely what they call us.
Okay, on the radio to give his opinion on A.J. Brown potential trade to New England. Make sure you guys stay right here after this break because we're going to talk some more. But we're going to talk a little bit about some flopping in the NBA because it's gotten really bad this past couple years. So we're going to talk about that. Make sure you guys stay right here after the break. And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. And over the course of the semester, we've talked a lot of basketball from different eras to who's the GOAT, to flopping, the softness of basketball in this era of basketball. So the question is, do you think flopping has gotten worse over the last couple seasons in the NBA compared to when you were watching it back in the 90s and the 80s?
Yes.
Oh, that was a strong yes.
Yes, absolutely.
That was a strong yes.
Absolutely. You breathe on them and they fall over. Come on.
Okay, so with that being the case, what do you think the difference is between today's game and the flopping? Why do players want to flop more now back to when in the 90s, 80s, they were a lot more, I guess, tough is what people want to call them?
Well, the game has changed, right? So from the way that they operate on the floor, especially with the refs. So when the refs are not giving the calls, I mean, look at how many travels do you see in a game, but they don't call. And now you get arguments about, is that a travel?
Yeah.
You walked a
Or
mile
carries. Yeah.
with the ball in your hand,
Yeah.
and that's not a travel? Come on now.
Yeah. Like James Harden's double step back.
Yeah, you ran through the paint. Didn't shuffle your feet. I mean, you just, yeah. So I think because the game has changed
Yeah.
from, 90s and through the different generations, the game has changed. And with that change, where they want more scoring, more excitement, they're trying to open up
The paint. And space.
Right. So they're trying to create that action
Yeah.
that fans want and need. So a lot of the refs probably close their eyes to it, turn. Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Right? And so now the players, are, in my opinion, when they don't get the calls, now they're going to exaggerate it, which is what's going on, I think. They're exaggerating that they got fouled.
But when you've seen the recent games recently, you're seeing players go up, and a perfect example of this was when OKC faced the Phoenix Suns. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, when he was playing against Devin Booker, you saw Devin Booker literally just standing there, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander jumped into him and threw his hands up in the air and got the call for a foul. But when Devin Booker goes up for a shot, doesn't make contact with anybody, he gets called for a shooting foul.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, where's the discrepancy? You got guys over here not doing anything, getting a call, versus a guy who legitimately gets fouled or doesn't do anything, getting called for a foul. Where's the discrepancy in that?
Yeah, you saw, back in the 90s with, when, Jordan and John Stark or Reggie Miller, you could see a little bit of that stuff back in the day where they would stand at the three-point line, jump up, and then they kick their leg out and then try to kick somebody and get the foul. Oh, they hit me, or they made contact. That was few and far between, but you saw that.
Yeah.
Now they're just literally jumping off the paint. No one touches them, and they just jump backwards like they got mollywopped. Yeah, exactly. So there's a big difference in how this game is played now. Some people call it they're soft. I don't know if they're soft. I just think that their skill set is extremely high.
Yeah.
Right? But the fact that they don't want to play all the games, they want to sit for a few games and do all this.
Yeah. Load managing is what they're calling it.
The load management. It's just not stuff that you heard of back in the day. Players wanted to play. I want to be on the paint. I want to be on the floor when my team is playing. They wanted to be a part of the win. But now, I need a little break, so I'm going to take a few games off.
But do you think that's a culture thing? Because obviously back when Kobe and Kevin Garnett and those guys are still playing into like the late 2000s, early 2010s, you still saw that kind of mentality from the 80s, 90s. But then once all those guys retired, the mentality shifted. Now everybody doesn't want to play the 82 games. Everybody wants to play less than 65 just because they want to take breaks and they want to take nights off, even when they're not hurt, they're not sick, or have any personal issues. Do you think that's a cultural thing knowing who your leaders are now in the NBA? Because those guys like Kobe, Garnett, Jordan, Pierce, or Ray Allen aren't in the league anymore. Now your leaders are your Steph Currys, your LeBrons, your Kevin Durant's. Do you think it's a culture thing and a leadership thing now in the league?
Oh, I absolutely do. I definitely do. I think they're looking for that longevity, ultimately. And there's nothing wrong with that. They got to protect their bodies and the money that they make for their families, right? So
yeah.
I'm not taking away from that. But I think that there's a balance that you can strike between being available for your team and having to take a break.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing when you physically have to take a break. Fans pay a lot of money to see certain players.
Yep.
And, some of these folks spend their last dime and they don't make a lot of money, especially today with the way the economy is, just to get away from their normal life. And then they go, I'm going to go to a game tonight, and then all of a sudden they find out that you're sitting or you're not even in the arena, and they spend all that money. So you kind of have to, I know it's a business. The NBA is a business. You still have to look at those things. And I understand that players need to protect themselves in the longevity. But I think that it is a cultural issue. I think this generation, I hate using the word term, but the term soft, but they just a little bit
prima donna.
So I think that they could do. They got to find that balance.
Okay.
To be available for their squad.
But do you think it's more of the NBA's commissioner needs to put a balance in there? Because he's implemented the 65-game rule, and you've heard players always come out and talk about, we don't want that, we don't need it. But do you think the NBA needs to do something to help enforce the fact that, hey, you're either going to play the 82 games, or do you think the NBA needs to do something with how long their season is? What do you think the NBA needs to do to fix that problem?
I think 82 games is a lot of games, right? And you're talking
especially
about,
for the abuse on the body, the jumping, the landing.
And the constant travel in between states. So I think, if anything, the NBA should reduce it. I don't know why we've gotten to that point with all these games. Actually, I do know why. It's money. Let's just call that what it is.
Because the NFL is they keep upping their games almost every year.
And it's about money. I mean, think about the amount of money across the league from all those games that's brought into the NBA in one night. I mean, so I think that they shouldn't extend it any more than it already is, right? But I understand that it is a business. They need to make money. But there's got to be a balance. The game was still exciting in the 90s when it was less games. It was still exciting when in the early 2000s when there were less games. The excitement factor is there. The excitement factor is there. We just got to bring it back or start to show it more.
To your point, you said it was more exciting back in the 90s, early 2000s. Do you think the quality of the game has gone down since a lot of the flopping, since the complaining of this? Or do you think it's just because there's lack of defense? Because as you've seen, defense obviously hasn't. That's always the joke nowadays, right? NBA doesn't play defense. You look at college, they play some defense. WNBA, they play defense. But in the NBA, they don't. Guys are blasting by them and all this other things. Obviously, rules have changed. There's space now. You can zone coverage rather than man coverage. But do you think the quality of the game has gone down since they've become a more offensive-focused league?
I do. Actually, that's a very good point. I think because you've opened up the field to people just heaving the ball. There's no, back in the 90s, there was a battle between offense and defense. And a lot of times those guys come up bloody, but they're banging down in the paint, or they're even outside on the perimeter. Now there's so much space in between the players, and they're allowed to just run through, travel, get to the paint, but that's what they want to see. They want to see the scoring, and they want to see the quick movement.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with why the league has gone in the direction it has. They've obviously taken away a lot of rules for the defense, and they become more offensive focused. So they call more defensive fouls when there aren't any fouls. They call less offensive fouls on the offense because they want those scores to be so high, because that's what they think is entertaining, when in reality, do you want to watch a blowout in any sport?
No.
I don't like watching blowouts. As much as it might frustrate me if it's my team, close games are always more exciting. Whether you win or lose, a close game is always exciting. Whereas if I see my team get blown out, I'm even more mad, because why even show up if you're just going to play like that? Or watching another team, because at halftime it's a blowout, I'm going to turn off the game anyways, because the likelihood of a comeback are, what would you say, maybe 10% if someone's coming back from so far a blowout type of score. Like, I'm shutting the game off halfway through. I'm not sticking around to the fourth quarter to see if they pull something out their butt.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, it's just there's no point in watching blowouts.
Yeah, well, back in the 90s, the thing that was exciting about it is the defense was so good. It was a lockdown. Gary Payton on Jordan, or Jordan and John Starks, or there was so many players. But when you saw them battle one-on-one, you were looking for that to see who was going to come out on top, offense or defense. They were squared up. Now you don't see that. It's very few and far between that you get to see those types of battles. And when somebody defensively they really show you how good they are by locking somebody down. That's used to scoring 30 points a night. When you see that battle, that's excitement. That's a game.
What do you think the NBA has to do to bring that type of competitiveness and that quality back? Is it a rule thing, or do you think it's getting the old guard out and ushering in a new guard?
I think, honestly, the blueprint is already there. They had it. They've had it from the 90s on into the 2000s, early 2000s. The blueprint is there. You just go back to what that was. And then in terms of marketing, market the game. I don't see a whole lot of really good marketing around the NBA anymore, or the players anymore.
I just think that's because there's no longer a true star. Like there was, 90s was Jordan, 80s was Magic Bird, 2010s you had Kobe, LeBron. So I think that era is gone. There's no true star anymore. People want to say, oh, it's Anthony Edwards. No offense. The league's not promoting Anthony Edwards. They're promoting a collective group of players, but there's not one person you can put as the face of the NBA anymore right now.
Yeah.
And I think until they get that, I mean, marketing-wise, it's going to be hard to market them because right now they're just promoting a group of players rather than just this is the face, right? But that's NBA and the quality of the NBA. That'll tie off the ribbon on our NBA conversations for this semester. But make sure you guys stay right here after this break because we're going to give our final farewells and ride off into the sunset. We're going to so make sure you guys stay right here after the break. We got all that coming up. And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. Now, that'll be the last time I say that this semester. This semester has been a blast. It's the first time I've ever been on a radio show. First time I ever had a radio show. So I've had a blast. Obviously, our man Gray's in here, and he's been with us for the ride all semester long. So I just want to send a congratulations out to him because he's graduating today. He's finally achieved what he wanted to, finished 4 years of schooling, so big ups to him. This is the final show of Between the Lines. I never thought I'd make it this far, especially I think I've gotten more confident over the semester. So
Congratulations. You have had some great shows. Great shows.
Lots of fun. Obviously, did a lot more joking towards the end of our time here in the semester with trivia games and some of the topics that we've had and how we would tackle the topics. So it was always fun. I want to thank everybody who listened, gave us the time of day, even though we probably didn't always live up to it. But I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for listening, tuning in every day at 2 o'clock, even though probably most of y'all was tired or working. So much love, much peace. For the last time, this is us. We stepping out from Between the Lines.